Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time, I'm Bonnie, Old Soul Mermaid. And on this channel, we do deck unboxings, first impressions, reviews, and we take a look at deck collecting and discuss tarot topics. But today we are going to take a little look at my deck collection, my fall decks. Now, I have a lot of decks spread all around me, and this is probably like the biggest category that I can place my collection in. And I think it would be the same with many of you because tarot, Halloween, fall, I think a lot of decks are created with that kind of theme in mind. So with I have a lot of decks here, so we're just going to get started. So, and this is in no particular order of favorites. It's just I grabbed the decks in my collection that I thought would fit in this category, how I view them. And so let's get started. So the first one here, right nearest to me, is the Relative Tarot by Carrie Paris. Now, this was an indie deck, a Kickstarter deck. It comes in this beautiful, beautiful box. It came with a spread cloth. And not only did this come with the tarot deck, it has a corresponding oracle deck with it. So this is a collage deck. And I think I'm going to get in just a little bit closer. Sorry for my hand getting in there. Just so I may be zooming in and out because some of these are still in boxes and they are quite large. But just a quick flip through so you can see some of the cards. I'm not sure if this is still available on her site. I think it may be. I checked maybe a month or two ago and it was. Now, this deck, I think I got it in January. So I've been working with it a little bit, but not a lot because I've been wanting to save it for this season, for the Halloween, Samhain season, because I think if you just look at it, and they are edged in brown, and the backs are an antique brown. This just speaks shadow work, also spirit work, connecting with ancestors, and it is quite a wonderful, wonderful deck. And there is some diversity, even considering the Victorian images, especially in the corresponding oracle deck. So I will show you that in just a second. A lot of these are famous people, like I believe this is Custer, General Custer. This is the Empress Frederick of Prussia, Queen Victoria's oldest daughter. And yeah, it doesn't say, there's a very scant guidebook, but it goes more into like your birth cards. I think this is Lionel Barrymore, the stage actor, and I think that's Tesla, maybe. So it is a wonderful deck for that. Spirit work, shadow work, but its purpose was, that's Houdini, obviously. Thedabera. That's not Nijinsky, but anyway. So, and it does have an extra card, the wish card. And just so you can see the corresponding oracle that goes with it, it's nestled side by side beautifully in the box with two decks. And with this deck, people sent in photographs of their ancestors, a lot of them. So a lot of these cards are actual ancestors of some of Carrie Paris's fans. And I know she has a card of her ancestors in here too. So this is the Relative Tarot and Oracle. And we will put that away so we can move on. And also these are edged and have the same backing. So yes, quite a wonderful, 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 wonderful deck to have. And I'm so happy to have it in my collection. There were some problems with it, you know, with production being held up, but that wasn't, this was before, you know, COVID. So, all right, let's move right along to the Antiquarian Tarot by Marie Bento. Now, I love this deck. Again, it has the same feeling as the Relative Tarot. Use it for shadow work, ancestor work. I haven't used it since last fall, so it's like, I think it's in, I put it back in order, but it is a collage, digital collage deck with Victorian, Edwardian images, and it comes with 2 significator cards. But you see the correspondences, and this is just a super, super wonderful deck. And this is linen cardstock. I believe this deck is still available on her website. So this is the Antiquarian Tarot, and it is one of my favorites by far. I am a big fan of Victorian, Edwardian images, photography, and it's and when it's digitally manipulated, you can see how powerful the images are and how wonderful that these types of decks are for shadow work, for ancestral work. So yes, this is the Antiquarian Tarot. It's not etched, but it is this wonderful, wonderful linen cardstock. And it does come with a padded bag, which is wonderful, and it's lined in red. So Marie Bento is also known, you can go on her website, divinemuses.net. Now, I will say that it's a very tight fit. It fits snugly in the bag, which is a good thing. Okay, where to go? Where to go? All right, a favorite of everyone's this year is the Raven's Prophecy Tarot by Maggie Stiefvater. I know I mispronounced that, but this is everybody's favorite. I know the orange borders, I haven't worked with it again since last year, and I tend to put them back in order, but powerful deck, a favorite of everyone's for shadow work. People bring it out this time of year. I haven't even thought about taking out the orange borders. I know it bothers a lot of people, but it doesn't bother me. I think the orange, with the orange in the back, really serves the theme, the feeling of the deck, and the borders don't bother me. But I have seen, you know, a lot of people who have trimmed it and it looks fabulous, and then they'll write in the card symbols. But I'm not going to do that. In fact, I will never, I may, as far as deck modding, I may, you know, play with edges, and I think I will with this deck as well eventually. But I don't think I will ever cut off borders, no matter how big, because I just don't trust myself. I really don't. All right, so that was the Raven's Prophecy. Next one with fall vibes to me, that screams fall and definitely Halloween, would be the wonderful, excuse me, Antique Anatomy Tarot by Claire Goodchild. I just did an unboxing video of her new astrological deck, and on my channel if you want to check that out. But again, this is a fantastic deck. In fact, I have 2 copies of this. Why do I have 2 copies of it? Well, I wouldn't have needed 2 copies of it, except, I've said it before, the cardstock. This is like scrapbooking paper, barely thicker than scrapbooking paper. No fault of the creator. I believe she said that this was the publisher's first foray into creating a deck, putting a deck out there. So I keep hearing rumors that they should be upgrading the cardstock for this deck. If any of you know if that has been done, let me know in the comments, please, because I would be all over that in a hot minute. Like I said, I have 2 of these decks because, yeah, as it is now, it's not going to stand the test of time with the cardstock. It's easy to shuffle, but it's also easy to bend. But again, this shadow work, perfect deck for this time of year. And I also have her Oracle, which will show up in another video. But I have a full unboxing of this deck on my channel if you care to see it. So that is the Antique Anatomy Tarot by Claire, the lovely and beautiful Claire Goodchild. She has a wonderful sense of style and magic about her, and I thoroughly enjoy this deck. All right, moving right along. For me, for fall vibes, Halloween vibes, how could we not put in the wonderful Shadowland Tarot by Monica Podursky? So this came out after Halloween last year. Yeah, it came out in the spring, I believe. March, if I'm correct. But I have worked with this deck, and it is fantastic. Fantastic. And it really is a deck. You know, all these decks, you don't have to wait for Halloween to use them. But it came in beautiful gold edging, yellow and black, beautiful bat backgrounds. And I know this is a favorite of many. This whimsical art. And it's one of those readers. I have worked extensively with this deck. Because of the images, it's a heavy hitter, but the messages are delivered in such a more gentle way, even though they're kind of scary monsters, shadow-like creatures. It's done in such a whimsical way. This is a fantastic reader. I love the width of the cards. It's great for smaller hands. The cardstock feels, it's a wonderful matte. This is one of my favorite cards. And you can see fall vibes, Halloween vibes. Love this one too. And it is a favorite. Now I'm trying to, as of now, you know, now that we are officially in fall, I'm trying to decide what decks I'm going to end up using for this fall season and what I'm going to be working with. And looking at all these decks, I'm quite uncertain. I really am, because there are too many fabulous decks to choose from. My next one, not really Halloween vibes with this one, but definitely maybe because of the coloring, fall vibes, is the Anna K Tarot. I have both. This is the indie version. I have the mass market one, which is actually the one that I've been using, and kind of saving this one as my precious. But as you can see, we'll just put this aside. That double box is sometimes annoying. But you all know this deck very, very well, but I have to include it in here. I've done a side-by-side comparison of this deck with the mass market deck. It is on my channel if you care to see it, to see the differences. I love, this is like one of my favorite Lover's card. The other one would be in the Everyday Enchantment Tarot by Poppy Palin. But you see the rich, vibrant colors in here, screams fall. But also there's some like this that could make this go into a winter deck as well. But it is very vibrant. I know some people have problems with the images, the faces, but this is one of my all-time favorite decks, and this is one of my favorite judgment cards. So we won't spend too much time on this deck. It is well known, well loved by many people, but I had to put it in this category because I think it fits very well, and I think a lot of people who own this deck would put it in the fall category as well. All right, moving right along. This is the Cosmo, no, I'm sorry, that's not the Cosmo. It's the Light Vision Tarots by James Eads. This is a new acquisition. I have not done an unboxing of this video on my channel just because it has been out for a long time, and I think you all know and have seen it. This is the, I think, most current edition, the 3rd edition with the matte cardstock, gold edging. And I've been just playing with it. I haven't worked with it in depth because literally I think I got it in the last month. But I do want to work with it, and because of the sepia burgundy tonal quality of this deck, it screams fall to me. Not necessarily like Halloween, but it does scream fall to me. So I am looking forward to working with this deck, and the cardstock is luscious and beautiful. And let me know in the comments how many of you backed his recently completed Kickstarter, the Oracle, Cosmo Visions Oracle. Let me know if you backed that. Oops, there's some sticking right there. So yes, the coloring and just the vibe I get with the beautiful matte gold edging just screams fall to me. And we are going to move right along, because that's what we need to do. The other one I have, and we're not going to look at it too much, new acquisition, haven't worked with it yet. You can see I put up a brand new unboxing of this deck on my channel, The Nightmare Before Christmas, illustrated by Abigail Larson, and the book is written by Minerva Siegel, or Siegel. Beautiful backs. I have a full-on unboxing, but of course this is going to be Halloween, and it can go all the way through Christmas, right? So and winter. So even if I don't get to working this in Halloween, it will definitely be worked with in the fall winter season. And I do, the more I touch this deck, the more I appreciate the cardstock. It's a nice matte. It shuffles nicely. And you will just see the one complaint I have with this deck over on my unboxing. Well, I'll tell you now. It's the inconsistency with some of the beautifully illustrated cards, you know, the majors, and then some of the pips. But I haven't worked with it yet, so I'm reserving total judgment, but I am so happy to have it. The Nightmare Before Christmas was a favorite of my kids and my family, and I have very pleasant memories of this deck, and you can see my unboxing on my channel. But it is a fall Halloween-y deck. Okay, moving right along. What else do I have? Oh, yes. The Darkwood Tarot. Since we just went with Abigail Larson's Nightmare Before Christmas, we can go right into her Darkwood Tarot. And the book is by Sasha Graham. The artwork is by Abigail Larson. I do have a full unboxing of this Llewellyn deck on my channel. I did edge it in some Tim Holtz Distress ink Fossilized Amber, I believe the color is called. Turned out pretty well, I think. Kind of, yeah, matches the cards. But I have not worked with this deck. I've played with it, but I have not really worked with it in depth. So this is kind of at the top of the list for this season. And as we are ending the end of September and moving into October, I'm trying to decide what decks I'm going to work with next month. So kind of doing this video is helping me kind of mentally figure out what I'm going to do. The only thing I have about this deck is the borders, and if you just saw the borders on the Nightmare Before Christmas, this one, I think it kind of, for my eye, it kind of disrupts the imagery and the flow. It is a very thin border, so not everybody feels that way, but I haven't worked with it in depth. So I'm reserving judgment, but the images are gorgeous. They're just gorgeous. So really no major complaints with this deck. It's on the Llewellyn cardstock. It's easy to shuffle. And I know a lot of people love this deck. And it comes with a beautifully illustrated guidebook. So excited to work with that one. Okay, moving right along. All right, the next one with fall vibes is my Field Tarot. Don't know if this one is still available. I haven't checked, but it is a beautiful, and I can't remember who the creator is. Oh, Hannah Elizabeth Fofana. But look at these backs. It's beautiful rose petal cardstock. It's not edged, but that's okay. And this deck I got to get me working with pips, because it is kind of a pippish deck. And I got this well before I got my Pagan Otherworlds, which is also a pip, illustrated pip deck, I guess is what you can see. The thing with this, the cards do stick a little bit. They're nice and sturdy though. Collage, digitally manipulated kind of deck, but I just love these images, and they do, because of the color palette, they do scream fall to me. And I did work with this last fall. It's, I would say this deck is more female centric, and you can see the pips. It does have keywords, which I know, like in the pips, which annoys some people, but it doesn't bother me. It has, as far as the art, it reminds me a lot of the Star Seeker, the newer Star Seeker tarot, just kind of the palette and some of the art. They're not the same, but they have a similar feeling. So that is the Field Tarot. And yeah, I'm like wondering what I'm gonna end up deciding to work with. So many. Okay, this one is a new acquisition, and it's one that I'm working with right at this moment. The Touchstone Tarot by Cat Black. This is the mass market version, and I have been enjoying working with this deck. I'm working with it just with the tail end of September. I was inspired by Sunset Bow, her channel, and her love for this deck, and I knew I had to get it. And if you see by the color palette, it screams fall. The deck is edged in gold. It's a US Games production, and it is Just, I'm having a lot of fun working with this. And I'm totally understanding what Sunset Bow said about these figures. A lot of them are just looking straight at you, calling you out, seeing right through you with piercing eyes, facing you. And yeah, I'm really enjoying working with this deck. You can see the beautiful backs, brown and gold. So that's why, it just has wonderful fall vibes to me. And moving right along. This one I don't think is going to fit. Totally in frame. So this is my druidcraft tarot. It's been a hot minute since I've worked with this. But this is the wonderful, I think it's a newer edition with the bigger book, and it's got the two, sectioned off cradle. But this deck, of course, is just fall to me, and the beautiful brown backs. It just, because it's out in the forest and the woods, this could easily be a spring deck, but to me, for some reason, maybe it's because of the backs, I view it as a fall deck. And I'm not going to trim off the borders. I know a lot of people have, but I just am afraid I will ruin it. And I don't want to do that. So the borders are going to stay. Yeah, this just screams fall to me. And maybe, it's Celtic, it's, So that's just a quick look at the druidcraft. I know you all know this deck very well, but it's in my collection. It's what I view as a fall deck, so we had to bring it out and look at it. Even if just for a hot second. There it goes. All right, here is one that I've had for a while and I have not had a chance to work with. And it's another one that's at the top of my list. It is the Vampire Tarot by Robert M. Place, or the Dracula Tarot. A deal I found at Half Price Books. It's in just about almost perfect condition. And I believe I got it for, I had a coupon, a 50% coupon, and it was like 70 bucks maybe, because this is kind of a collector's item now. He only printed one edition of it. And I know a lot of you know this deck, have seen this deck. Oh, look, there's Pixie right there. Pamela Coleman Smith. And this is one of the problems with the box. The cards were in perfect condition. Those are the glorious backs. But the thing I want to work with, and the reason why I haven't worked with it yet, is because of the guidebook. This, Robert M. Place, he's a tarot scholar. It's his writing is quite esoteric. And so the reason why I've held off is because I know I'm going to be, it's going to take me a while to get through this guidebook and to really, really work with it, because there's some history. And, but that's the reason why I got it. And it's the reason why I haven't worked with it yet. But you see, he's a scholar, and it's written in that scholarly way. And I'm very familiar with the story of Dracula. I've got the book in my bookshelf. I haven't read it for, it's been a few years since the last time I read it. But I'm going to read this book. I'm going to be rereading Dracula and working with the cards. So, and I could see this taking me, a good month. And this would be like the only deck that I'd be using for the most part. This and an oracle deck. So, for those of you who haven't seen the deck, I know there's probably not many of you, but if you're new to tarot and you're looking at my channel for the first time, I'm just going to give you a quick flip through. I think there are some copies on eBay. I haven't checked in a while, but this is glossy cardstock, but not super sticky, that they won't shuffle cardstock. So this is at the top of my list because I've had it for a while. I would say maybe a year, and I haven't worked with it yet because of those reasons that I mentioned. Okay, moving right along. What have I got next? Okay, everybody knows the Everyday Witch Tarot. This is everybody's favorite to work with at this time of the year or any time of year. And I'm only going to, pick out the cards because there could be somebody very new to tarot looking at this video. Those are the wonderful backs. I'm going to get in just a little bit closer. And this deck is by Deborah Blake and the art is by Jessica Alba. This is a favorite of many tarot reader alike. Wonderful energy, easy reader. I have worked with this extensively, as soon as I got it. And this deck, can't be beat. It's a wonderful, wonderful production. I do have the Oracle deck that goes with it. Haven't really worked with that yet, but this deck is the bomb. So we're going to move right along because you all know this deck. This is a mass market deck, easily obtainable. Just in case you are new and are wondering about it, it's the Everyday Witch Tarot, and it's a Llewellyn public. Right, so let's move on, and I'm trying to see what I've gone through already and what I still need to go through. Okay, Lonely Dreamer Tarot. I worked with it this first part of the month and most of the month, and then I segued to the Touchstone Tarot. I felt this was a good, since we were still in summer, and it was a good summer segue into fall, So this is what I used for most of the month of September. It was a Kickstarter deck, and if you watch, I have a full unboxing, and if you've watched my unboxing, you know the travails and the problems I had with obtaining this deck, so I won't go into it. But if you want to watch and hear all about it in the full walkthrough, and also my video about no more Kickstarter decks for a while, you will see. But do you see how there's like, okay, summer, beautiful bright florals, and then you've got kind of the fall coloring, and sometimes you have the mixture of the two. So this was a great deck for summer segue into fall, and you can see by the colors. This is a beautiful linen cardstock, borderless, and these backs, look at these, just so gorgeous. And this is based on the art by Odilon Redon, and it is a wonderful, I had a lot of fun reading with this deck. Wonderful, wonderful deck. And we're going to put that to the side because I do have a full unboxing of that. And how could you have a Halloween collection video without this beautiful gem, the Dark Mansion Tarot? This is a deck I have worked with extensively. It is one of my favorite decks. It's right up there. It's definitely in the top 10. Don't know, my top 5 fluctuates a lot, but it's definitely in the top 10. Easy reader, beautiful images. It does have that Tim Burton-esque type artistic vibe to it. Many people compare it to that, you know, Nightmare Before Christmas type artwork. Look at these wonderful borders. So, yeah, this is a deck that I have worked extensively with. I probably will use this as a deck to finish out a month. Like maybe I'll work with a deck for 3 weeks and then maybe do my last week with this deck in the fall. It's a fantastic deck by Terrateca Studios. And I believe it's still in print. They may be on their 3rd edition. This is a 1st edition. Beautiful blacked edges, and I have these original backgrounds. I am thinking about, if they still have it, I would like a 3rd edition with a different background, because this deck, I know I never want it to be out of my hands. I always want it in my collection. And sometimes you just know those decks, right? Okay, this is the 5-Cent Tarot by Madame Clara. This is the 2nd edition. My 1st edition I have packed away lovingly because I'm going to use the 2nd edition. And actually the coloring for the 1st edition seemed more fall-like, but because of the cards themselves, I got a different coloring. The other for my 1st edition was more muted earth tones. But this screams fall to me because of the cards themselves. This Victorian ephemera art just screams fall to me. Not necessarily Halloween, maybe a little bit, but it's fall, totally. And I do have a full unboxing of the 1st edition on my channel. It's one of my earlier videos, and I also recently I did a side-by-side of the 2 editions, if you'd like to see it. And I think both editions may be available still on Madame Clara's. It's, I believe it's under Motel Gift Shop on Etsy. But this is wonderful linen cardstock. You get a bag, I believe, with this when you purchase this deck. This beautiful, you know, velvet bag. You get to choose your colors. The box is wonderful, magnetic closure. Can't be beat. All right, we are going down to the last deck, down to the wire. Just want to make sure I put these in properly so I have less cleanup. I have a lot of decks to clean up, you guys. So this is going back, and it does, the 1st edition came with a spread cloth. This was a Kickstarter deck. So the 2nd edition I got a little, was it a pin? Or a coin. I got a coin. That's right. All right, the last one. And this is not as well known. This is not as well known. And this deck is the Alvin Tarot by Shannon Loftus, I believe her name is. And she does have an oracle deck that goes with it, which I do have. It comes with a guidebook. It does not come with a box, but it did come with a muslin bag. This is one of the first unboxings I did on my channel. It's not very good. So, you know, sometimes I think maybe I should redo it, but this guidebook is good. It does come with a colored picture of the card, and it's very, very good. This is a deck to really get your intuition going, and I think I'm gonna, for this one, I'm gonna come down a little bit just because it's not as well known. I don't think this is available anymore. I've heard that she's working on another deck. Sometimes the Oracle, which is tinier, is available. But you have to follow her, Shannon Loftus, on Instagram. Yeah, Shannon Loftus, Loftis. And Excuse me, I had to take a sip of my drink of choice, Coke Zero, Nectar of the Gods. Her story, I believe, I read a while ago of her creating this deck, and these are the wonderful, it's a square deck, lace on the back. She got these stock images from the Library of Congress, and I believe she was creating this deck while she was going through cancer treatment. But if ever there was a deck to use for your intuition, I believe this is Napoleon's throne room. It's this deck. And I do have to work a little bit with this. It's not what I would say a bang up easy reader for some of these cards. And that's more when you get into the pips. I would say that is true. Because these majors are very, very good and easy. But in the guidebook, you do get, you know, the locations and some information about the picture. And this is like one of my favorite death cards ever. You see that? The catacombs. So I'm just going to flip through a few more of these cards. So I do believe she's working on another deck, which I will certainly get. Now I am going to do a video with my Fall Oracle and Lenormand decks, and I will do that next. Maybe I'll do that right after I finish with this one. And the Oracle deck will be in that video. So this is the Alvin Tarot by Shannon Loftus. And as you can see, yeah, as we're getting into the pips, you have to work a little bit harder. This is the Two of Cups. The Three of Cups is easy. The Four of Cups. But that's good. Sometimes you want a deck that will challenge you a little bit, make you work a little bit, and you know, help you become a better reader. And a deck like this is certainly one of those decks. Okay, so that is a look at my fall Halloween decks. And stay tuned for the next video, which will be a look at the Lenormand and Fall Oracle decks. And let me know what you think. Which decks do you think I should work with first? Do you have any of these decks? Which decks have you found to be your favorites to work with at this time of year, either for Halloween or for fall, Samhain? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you real soon with my next video. Bye for now.